That's good. More of that. You're supposed to say aloha or something. Welcome to the Denver Convention Center and the third annual Move Mining Competition. We appreciate everybody here, live in studio, and also on, we're live streaming on Facebook, so people all around the world are watching us right now. We'd like to introduce our official sponsor for this Move Mining Competition, Komatsu, and thank them very much for their support. That's right, you can applaud for that too, you know. Also contributing this year is Coeur Mining, who joined through our We Love Mining sponsorship opportunity, and also Newmont Mining, who is sponsoring our Facebook live stream today. In a moment, you'll be watching as the top 5 finalist teams reveal their concepts to Move Mining. These finalist teams were chosen for their innovative concepts and ideas by both a committee of judges and by a popular vote. Our presenters are competing for a grand prize of $5,000, bragging rights as the Move Mining Season 3 competition winners, and most importantly for the knowledge that they will be moving mining and changing the perception of mining around the world. My name's John Ward. I'll be your master of ceremonies for today, and before we get started, a few items to help everybody get comfortable. The restrooms are right outside those doors. Please silence your cell phones and refrain from flash photography. And for our most important topic for our industry, safety. Please keep the aisleways clear, and I've always wanted to say this. Please look around you for the closest emergency exit, and note that the closest exit may be behind you. The emergency exit doors are on either side of the auditorium. Without further ado, we'd please like to introduce our panel of celebrity judges for this event. We have a distinguished panel of folks who know about both mining and communication, and I'm going to embarrass each of them individually right now. So beginning on the left, Meg Roman, Director of Corporate Communications with Komatsu. We have Nick Gao, Senior Consulting Metallurgist at Forte Dynamics. Allison Koppel is Director of Social Responsibility for Newmont Mining. Kirsty Baki is Communications Specialist with Coeur Mining. And finally, Jim Spenceley, Senior Vice President of Mining for Black & Veatch Corporation. So the Move Mining competition has been formatted so that each team has a 14-minute window to both pitch their idea and impress this panel of judges, also fielding any questions that they may have. As you can see, that's going to be quite a challenge to get that all squeezed in, so we're not going to waste any more. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. Right now, we'd like to welcome to the stage our first team, Team Northern Minnesota, SME. Clearly has their own fan base in studio here. I'd like to welcome to the stage Mo Benda, Claire Peterlin, and Kurt Duran.
Good evening, everybody. We're excited to be here. My name is Mo Benda.
And my name is Kurt Doran.
And I'm Claire Peterlin.
Tonight we're going to talk about an idea that we think can move mining, move the perception of mining in the minds of the young people today into the future generations. It isn't about who we work for, it's about who we represent tonight. We represent a subsection of SME in northern Minnesota.
So as the subsection chair, we have within our organization all the horsepower needed to provide the expertise on the subjects. What we don't do is we don't speak 5th grade to 5th graders, and we barely speak 11th grade to 11th graders. We speak very, very intelligently about our subjects. So the problem is we don't have any mechanism to connect that with the students.
And today I represent all of the K-12 educators in northern Minnesota, and I'm really good at teaching students and connecting with them and helping them learn all of the subjects that I have to teach them throughout the year, but what I don't know anything about is mining.
And when I talk about hydropyrometallurgy, that's not 3rd grade, in case you were wondering. But Claire speaks 3rd grade, and that's the bridge that we want to gap with this project, is that we need to connect the teachers with the professionals. Kurt is a stream ecologist. I don't know what that does. He represents a subspecialty within mining. Our whole profession. We have geologists, hydrogeologists, chemical engineers. We're the best, in case you're wondering. We have, we represent, this entire room represents a gamut of the mining profession, and we all speak a little bit different. The trouble is, we don't know how to bridge to the teachers. We don't speak their language. So the concept that we're working on is we are creating these jump kits. This idea came from the medical field. Paramedics, when they run to an emergency, they grab their kit, and that kit is fully loaded with everything that they can conceive that will happen that evening. And they have it all with them. These jump kits that we're making are designed by the professionals within our organization, working concurrently with the teachers. So how do we get the teachers there? We buy them food. And we also give them professional development, because to keep their credentials up, they have to also get ongoing continuing ed. And so we're able to provide that. This idea originally came from, one of us was at a 5th grade, and we were presenting, it was me, okay, I was talking about why chemical engineering is such a wonderful profession, and how does it fit into mining? And I had 20, 30 kids, and I was passionate because I'm passionate about what I do. And I was able to convey that. And many of us have volunteered our times to go in and to many schools around the country and share that 20 to 30 students at a time. We have access through our network to 24 school districts, hundreds of teachers, and thousands of students. I went in there and I told her, I said, okay, this is why chemical engineering is so great. And she said, yeah, but next week I'm going to teach about minerals. And there's my little box over there that I'm going to teach about minerals, and it was this dusty, dirty, well, geologists think that's pretty enticing, dusty and dirty, but it was this box with Precambrian rock, as far as I know. It was old stuff. And I said, you know what? How about I take that back to my organization? What if we were to create a minerals kit for you and give that to them? And that's what we were able to do. We created these jump kits, and we are allowing the teachers to sign these jump kits out, and they can go online and say, what am I teaching and when?
But as a teacher, I don't want just the kit, just where I can just have this canned curriculum and give it to my students. I actually want to understand mining and understand what I'm teaching, and that's where this collaboration piece comes in with the mining professionals. It won't just be canned curriculums in boxes that are handmade for everyone. It'll be a collaborative experience where professionals and educators come together to teach educators, then we can go and teach our students.
So like Mo said, I'm a stream ecologist. I don't know much about mineral processing, but I know a lot about stream ecology and aquatic insects. So I would come into with Claire and her fellow teachers, and we would have a very intimate discussion about that topic. And we would also provide them with the materials they need to actually go out and sample a stream for aquatic insects, which is, anyone here deals with mine permitting, is very important for a mining operation to understand that. And so what we really want to do from the mining perspective is not just provide the materials which have a connection to mining, but we want mining to be what drives the education.
And we believe that people oppose mining not because of other reasons other than that they don't know enough about it. They don't understand it. They don't know how cool it is, what the science is that goes into it. This method is going to bridge that gap. So how much is it going to cost, you're asking? This is not an overnight success plan. This is a 50-year mine plan. We are going to convince one at a time throughout the next generation, one subject at a time, from kindergarten through high school. We don't know what they're teaching. Like I said, I don't speak 3rd grade, but Claire does. She can translate my message. She can tell me what she needs to teach 3rd graders, and she can speak in that language. We need to get together. We need to put this SME professionals, the mining professionals together. We need to communicate. What is it you need? When do you need it? And how can we build it? And we go back and we build those kits. And we deliver the wow.
So all of us have had this pivotal experience in our educational years that really transformed and set us on the trajectory for our career. And so with this idea, what we're thinking is this best case scenario, the biggest opportunity for impact that we have is to inspire the next generation of mining professionals. But even if we aren't able to do that, we're at least educating the greater community on what mining really is so that they can form their own opinions as they progress throughout their adult life.
So we're already doing this in northeastern Minnesota. We've got the partner organizations that we work with. Most of us wear a lot of the same hats. Where SME comes in is to really drive the mining component to that. And we want mining to be the driving factor because we are a mining state, we are a mining region within a mining state, and we get a lot of opposition to mining for a lot of the same reasons that everyone here gets opposition to mining. And we feel like educating the next generation is a good way to try and work against that. So
like I said, this is not an overnight success plan. This is a 50-year mine plan that, like Hecla said this morning, we had a 5-year mine plan that after 30 years we still have another 5-year mine plan. We think this is sustainable because of all of us. We have the passion and energy for what we do and we want to share it. We're on the lead train right now. We are doing this and we want mining to be that lead car. There are other STEM providers, archers. Who wants to be an archer? But they think that's STEM related. Well, they can get these kits as well. But the more mining kits that we have available, the more information we have, the more we can connect with these students, 1,000 at a time. That's our big idea, and I think together we can move mining. They said I couldn't do a mic drop, but we are open for questions.
Can you provide an example of what a subject jump kit would look like, or what would be in one?
So as an example, right here, we just have some gold panning kits provided from MEC, and we use the gold panning kits already for different teacher events where we are already working with teachers to help them improve their knowledge of mining. Another example that I think I used earlier would be the stream ecology sampling, right? And so I'm not a geologist, and gold panning is cool, but it's not something that I'm really smart about. But I can go set up a program to sample a stream and characterize the aquatic ecology and the benthic diversity in that stream. And that's something the kids can do, and they can go out there, it gets them outside, it gets them hands-on with really cool stuff, right? So that would just be an example. And so again, I'm not a process engineer or a chemical engineer, so I can't design all those, but as the organization, from the organization as a whole, we have the horsepower to generate that.
And if I could finish my story about the 5th grade teacher, the mining kit that we brought back was put together by the Minerals Education Coalition that supports this organization, but it was by local members from Minnesota. And we got minerals from Michigan, from Minnesota, from around our area. And everything that we showed those teachers, this was at the National Science Teachers Association, they became kids. And that's what we want. Because like Claire said, if we can ignite the teachers, imagine what we can do to the students.
How many different kits and sessions are you envisioning that you might put into a school year?
And it's really going to depend on the teacher need. So what we're hoping for this summer is we're going to get 12 kits as quickly as we can. The process of engineering these kits is not entirely laid out, meaning that it's an organic process. So we're meeting with these teachers and they're saying, okay, well, this is my curriculum. We don't understand curriculum speak. And so she says, for example, well, I'm going to do a section on plant ecology. What is your need? And usually in the mining or in the education system, it's a push-driven system where people say, here, take this and teach the great things about mining. We want it to be a pull system where they say, I really don't know anything about, can you provide something for me like that? And our greatest strength is our connected network.
Your proposal, sorry. No, go ahead. I don't know if this is working. In your proposal, you indicated that this was going to target K through 12. Are you planning on making different kits for different grade levels, or are you focusing on a specific grade level to start? How is that going to work with your budget?
It would be for K through 12 impact, so it'd be a variety of topics that all relate back to mining, but different curriculum for different classes and different understanding levels. So it would be gold panning. You could do that as a senior or you could do it as a kindergartner, but it's really how you teach it that's the difference. So the curriculum would be able to change and be able to flow between the grade levels.
And to rehash, one of the key points we have is that collaboration between the mining professionals and the teachers is so important for this. All too often, our interaction with the teachers is very minimal. We want to change that too, so that the teachers are better understood. They understand what our message is to better teach that message in the schools.
And just to the money question as well, is that we're an all volunteer organization for this kind of outreach. So our time is donated by the operators. Our time is donated by our bosses. And so that doesn't show up on our line. The only thing is the outreach to the teachers.
I love how you're targeting the younger generations, but have you considered maybe either some take-home sheets for the parents as well, or maybe even a couple programs for the parents to get them involved as well?
So specifically, no. This is a dynamic process that we're still trying to develop right now. One of the points that Mo made at the beginning or end of the presentation was that this train is already down the tracks, and we're already doing this, or we're already working towards this, and so this is just trying to better that. And so, like I said, it's a dynamic process, and so as we take input from the teachers, we can modify how we present our resources to them. And that collaboration with the teachers and the professionals is so important to make this work too. So part of that budget is for pizza and beverages at a venue to have those conversations.
And what type of metrics do you track, if any?
So the metrics are qualitative, meaning that we have, with our partner organization, they're called the Range Engineering Council, and because of the traceability of students and privacy of information, we only know if they come back and tell us. So we have a number of students that are in the audience tonight that are from Iron Range Engineering. They went through our program, and they got touched by us and became mining professionals, so love it. Time for one more question.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. What I like about this is like you can see how this could be long-term sustainable. How are you going to bridge that little gap you've got in the fundraising?
We have a really unique set of resources for funding in northern Minnesota. We do have the Range Engineering Council, but we also have a lot of collaborative educational groups. So we believe that with the momentum that we've created, we'll be able to sustain this with more funding. But we are out of time, so I appreciate the questions, and thank you to the audience.
Let's have another round for Northern Minnesota SME and give them extra credit for not taking extra time. Thank you very much. Well, while we're letting the second team set up, let me just take a moment to review how each of these teams is going to be scored. Each team will be evaluated on information quality and organization, communication, visual tools, content and concept, application and impact, cost assessment, and precision in detail. The judges have also been given a rubric to mark their scores for each of these fundamental categories, and each judge will also be awarding points based on emotional appeal. At the end of our fifth presentation, our panelists will compare notes and select a winner, and we will choose a champion right here while we're all sitting in the room. So now that we know how the scoring is going to work, I'd like to introduce our second team. Please give a round of applause to Team Miles of Smiles from Littleton, Colorado. Team Miles of Smiles is the duo of Ryan Miles and Jules Miles.
Hello, my name is Julianne. This is my husband, Ryan. This is our second time actually at Move Mining, so we're really excited to be back. About 2 years ago at the inaugural Move Mining, we presented our children's book series, The Mineral Maniacs and the Magic Hard Hat. The Mineral Maniacs and the Magic Hard Hat is a book series of middle grade readers, about 2nd to 5th grade, and we'll get a little bit into the story in a minute. But since that time, a very generous donor in the Move Mining crowd actually funded our project, helped us get to the finish line, and in the 2 years since, we've sold over 2,000 copies of our books. We've made Spanish editions, activity guides, and we are looking to expand our brand today with this competition. So a little bit about our storyline first. The story is about 3 5th graders, Maribel, Victor, and Herbie, who uncover a secret world of people made of stone, known as the Paxteras. But the Paxteras have a problem. They are about to lose a hidden mineral, a secret mineral from their world. And they need the help of the maniacs to uncover and figure out what this mineral is. In order to do that, they have to see where the mineral is mined, how it is processed, and where it is used in our everyday lives. Over the past 2 years, we have been able to promote this series in a lot of fun ways, including a launch party at our favorite brewery, and even a Mineral Maniacs Day at the National Mining Hall of Fame. But because our creativity just kind of kept flowing, we had a couple additional ideas of how to expand this brand and to make it even more tangible and exciting, particularly for educators. So my husband is going to tell you a little bit about our new idea.
All right, so we've got Mind Dash, a new board game targeted towards our kids and readers and families and schools. And it's a Candyland-style adventure race, but with a little bit of a twist. It's a race through a mine, but you have mine cards and you have life cards. Mine cards highlight mines around the world and the minerals that come from those mines. The life cards are where we have products in our life, our everyday life, technologies that need minerals. And throughout the game, you use the mine cards to either move through the game, or you're able to pick up these life cards at different special areas through the mine, and then you match the mined minerals to the mine card. I just wanted to show a few examples of how it works in the game. The videos weren't working in rehearsal, but hopefully they'll work now. Okay, a little jumpy, but just an example of how the mine card works. You draw these mine cards, and you look at the element that's on the card, and this first player decides to use the gold, and then moves to the gold space on the board game. So that's first example of moving. Then the second kind of choppy example. The next player picks up 2 mine cards and decides, okay, I'm going to choose the silver mine card and I'm going to move to the silver space. Now this third one gives a little bit of how a mine and life card would match. So they decide to use a coal mine to move forward to a coal space, which happens to be a backfill location in a stope, and they get to draw a life card. And it just so happens to be the life card they pick is grid storage batteries, which would be worth 7 points at the end of the game if they could match it. And lo and behold, they found a mine that has all those minerals, and they've got a match for the end of the game. So, but if you're not convinced about this board game, let's talk a little bit about board games of the past.
Right, so as you can see, I think this is the example that most of us know about board games in our lives. Many of us have very joyful and excited experiences, and many of us maybe don't have very joyful and excited experiences with board games, especially this particular board game, Monopoly, which is either a fan favorite or has ruined families. But something has happened actually in the past 20 years in the era of board games. Board games, I think for the most part, have gone through this dramatic shift to a strategy era of board games. It started in 1995 with Settlers of Catan. These board games are strategy-based. They involve players performing together. You typically don't know who the winner is going to be until the very, very end. There's a race to the finish. It's produced these massive board game industries and conventions. And ironically, for our purposes, a lot of these games have mining as a central component, including Settlers of Catan. Here's the thing about board games that we have realized too. There's something very special about simply sitting and being with one another and learning these new strategy era board games. My husband and I actually went on a date night a few months ago, to Board Game Republic, which is a restaurant here in Denver, which has hundreds of board games. And you just go and sit and learn, and the waiters know how to play all of them. And we came back and we said it was one of our favorite date nights we'd ever had. And it was because there's something really special about just being with one another, sitting and learning together. But in case you're still not convinced, my husband's going to tell you a little bit more about this booming board game industry in the world of crowdfunding.
All right, yeah, so board games are actually a booming industry right now. So much so that on Kickstarter, it's the top category. And why that's happening is people are now looking for ways to turn off the screen and connect with people. We're leaving behind relationships that when we're behind our screen. And then crowdfunding with Kickstarter is letting anybody design a board game and bring it to life and see if people will support it. And this goes in further, you can't really, probably, I don't know, maybe you can see the charts, but the big tall graph means that last year in 2018, Kickstarter tabletop games were the top category and they raised $165 million in successfully funded projects. The chart on the right is that it's been consistently growing since 2011, every year. And it really doesn't have an end in sight. There's a lot of board games out there, a lot of people playing board games, but a lot of the top board games that had mining as a central component, it's all just resource scarcity type of the board games. And there's so many different challenges throughout the mining environment that could be modeled as a board game and could be really fun challenges in a board game. So lo and behold, a month ago, I looked on Kickstarter, a brand new board game showed up called Or the Mining Game. We had no affiliation with these guys, but they funded, the very first day, raised $10,000 was their goal, so they were successful. They raised almost $30,000, and this is a board game of how mining supplied industrial revolution. And so it's kind of tantamount that mining is an exciting board game mechanic. But our board game is targeting younger kids. That was, there's a lot of board games that target all ages. All ages have fun with our board game. Our boys have been our primary play testers, and they really love the game. But I think this would work really well in a science competition, or in a science classroom. Teachers are looking for ways that their kids won't fall asleep when they're learning the rock cycle. And our book has been a great complement to that, and this board game just takes that a little further. And our biggest customer has been museums and mine tours, and so we'll take them there as well. But we really need the mining community's support to get this thing going. And our budget is kind of flexible in that we've got two phases. Our first phase would be polishing up the artwork, polishing up some of the mechanics, getting as many partners as we can for mines that we can feature in our game, and deciding the good technologies to include. That's $5,000 to get it play tested, marketed, and can happen fairly quickly. We got the game pretty close. Kickstarter would come after that. And I've gotten a few quotes from manufacturing in China and in the US, but in order to really hit a mass audience, you've really got to get it to Kickstarter. Even the major publishers are using Kickstarter now. And our goal, we've got a pretty ambitious goal to get this underneath Christmas trees at Christmas time, but we can get there with your help. And so we've got the Move Mining Finals going on right now. We've developed these prototypes and we're ready to publish on demand. And then the Kickstarter campaigns could start after that. And so let's...
Yes, just one final thing. I was not involved in the mining industry at all until I married into it. The person, and I feel like I've also married the industry as well. And I can tell you firsthand, I have a background in education as well. I know how important it is to keep education exciting and to not keep education stagnant and boring. Teachers need items in their hands to make things and concepts accessible, especially to small children. So there are a couple ways you can still partner with us. You can buy our existing book, which actually is right here in the bookstore. You can partner with our game as well. And you can also help spread the word by telling your communities and telling the organizations you work for. So thank you so much for having us back, and we look forward to your questions.
Can you tell us
us more about the core components taught? So I heard general minerals, where you find minerals and mining. What else?
Yeah, so the mine cards feature mines around the world, and then the primary products that come from those mines. So it actually got it down to the element level. So you'd have gold, silver, copper, nickel, molybdenum, coal, really any element that we use and get out of mines we can include in the game. We decided to choose only 5 elements to move through the game. So it was gold, silver, nickel, copper, and coal, I believe. And so, but to match it with technologies, the life cards that we use in our everyday life can be any of the minerals. And so that's kind of, the idea is you use different minerals to go through the screen's changing in front of me, but, and so it's really bringing both together, the mine and
Yeah, and how it connects to our books as well is that the characters are kind of play a central role in the board game as well. You start with King Paxtera Underground and you move up, hoping to get to the science teacher, Miss Pebbles. But in our books, these 3 central components are where it is mined, how it is processed, and how it's used in our everyday lives. And that's really what the board game's all about too. You see where it's mined by the mine cards, you see how it's processed by going through the different elements, and then the life cards are how it's used in our everyday lives.
So I love board games. I have quite a few. Oftentimes, though, with people's collections, they play them once and they end up on a shelf. How much replayability do you see your game having, and how much or enjoyment did your kids get out of this game?
Well, they asked to play it over again, and the game that our boys are really loving right now is Ticket to Ride. It's a game about building railroads across the United States and Europe. They've got a whole slew of games around it. But this Mind Dash is one that even our 3-year-old can understand, and he gets excited about playing it too. And the thing about targeting schools, reaching that age group, is that the teachers can play that every year to replay it. And doing it at home or with kids on their game shelf, it does kind of age out at a time. But this is just the beginning. We would like to also design other games. I've got a lot of ideas. I actually built one for this, and I was playing with our boys, and we played the whole thing. And we had a few cards left, and we hadn't scored a single point. So it was a fail, and that's part of it. Part of designing is figuring out what works and what doesn't.
I think also the component that's a little different, so it's for younger age groups, but it's also for older than what you'd say like a Candyland. So Candyland is no strategy, it's completely luck-based, right? I think we all remember Candyland. This adds that extra component of easy, basic, beginner-level strategy. And it's that beginner-level strategy that we hope people will want to play again, kind of like our boys with Ticket to Ride. They genuinely, we've had that game now for a year, and they still ask to play and play. So we're hoping that that strategy component is what would bring people back to the game.
Sorry, can we see the game? Can you pass that along? We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And while you're doing that, I'm just curious, you've done a lot of research, obviously, but what is your forecast for how many people you could reach and how many games you might sell over the, say, stage 1 and stage 2?
Right, well, it certainly depends on the crowdfunding and the kind of reach that we can receive with that. We hope that it would be the kind of thing that people would want to support. But for us, our primary market would initially be educators and then mining companies themselves. So it really depends on the support we receive from them. We received incredible support from mining companies with our books. The reason we were able to sell so much is a lot of times companies would buy them for their families, for their different players. Hey, honey, one drop tree here. So that's really, it depends on our initial marketing strategy, which we would aim at educators and mining corporations themselves. And then the Kickstarter will hopefully put it in the hands of everyday people. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let's have another round of applause for Miles or Smiles. Miles of Smiles. We can keep the judges from playing the game. That would be. Well, our third team's getting ready to go. Let's talk just a minute about why move mining to begin with. The Move Mining is about changing the world's perception of an industry that's already changing the world. And our industry has had a lot of programs over the years to work on changing perceptions of mining. So what makes Move Mining different from some of those other campaigns? Well, first of all, for this campaign, we asked other people from around the world for their ideas on how to move mining. We asked our competing teams to consider their audience first. Who is it that they are specifically trying to reach? And we asked them to tell the industry's story through a medium of their own choice. And then we got the idea. Let them make the pitch. Put them in front of a panel of judges similar to Shark Tank, which is why you hear the music that we stole every time the contestants come up to compete for the prize. So make it fun in that Shark Tank format. And so with that in mind, we'd like to invite our third team up to compete now. I'm pleased to introduce the mining band team joining us from Medellin, Colombia. Welcome to the stage, please, Daniela Porras Cataño, Jafet Diaz Guerra, Manuel Zacaria Salgado Cabeza, and Mauricio Para Valencia.
So good afternoon, everybody. I am Jafet.
Hi, I am Zacarias.
Hi, my name is Daniela, but where is the Astro Boy?
Hi everyone, I'm Mauricio Parra.
But guys, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the best project that we have to change people's perception about mining.
But what was the name of it?
Oh yeah, the mining band. But Jafe, what is this about?
This project emerged at Universidad Nacional de Colombia, sede Medellín, when we were talking about the social problem that mining has in the industry. So that's why we are here. We want to change the perception of people. Danny, what do you think about this project?
Oh yeah, we want to use the band for showing to the community what is the best of the mining with some materials that we gonna to educate and recreate the communities. But Zacarias, what is our goal?
Well, our goal is that each person that talked to us fall in love with me.
Oh, really?
Just kidding. Fall in love with mining and also know the importance and its benefits of this industry. But wait a minute, we have to show them what is this about.
Okay, the band will establish its camp in a town, in the main square of this town, but it could also be done in a high school institution. The band will be treating 4 main components. These components are the most usual concerns that people have towards mining.
Mauro, what are the bases about?
Oh, sure, Danny, I can explain you that. The 4 bases are going to be about the social, the environmental, and the technological component. And by last, we will have a museum of minerals.
That is a nice idea, but I think that the people want to know more of the project. Jafet, can you tell us something more about the...
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the social component that we've played. We want to talk about with the communities of the employed generation that comes from mining, and also the progress, the region growth due to the royal payment of royalties and the developing CSR program, corporate social responsibility programs. And remember, guys, in those regions, people live for mining, and mining live in them. So
I got it. So in the environmental component, I think that we could talk about the topics as what are the effects of the mining in the water, the flora, the fauna, what is the responsibilities of the communities and the company, and also how to do the well-done mining closer in the regions.
In this way, I will talk about the technological component. In this one, we want to show all the people the importance of the minerals in our everyday lives. Also, the relationship between mining and other mankind sectors, such as medicine, architecture, construction, and other important activities of the human life.
Finally, our band will come with a mobile museum of minerals. We will show to the people where we can see the minerals in our everyday lives, and we will explain them how we can know them, how we can identify them, know their properties, know their hardness. The thing is that it has to be like very interactive with the people, so it can be a dynamic experience and from people, for our target audience.
So, but hey guys, how are you gonna get the money? We only have money to buy a toy band, but if we win Move Mining competition, it would be a great opportunity to make our dream come true. It would be a big step to reach our goal. In this project, the initial investment required is about $8,000 for the initial budget, and for operational budget, we need like $200 for every session that we're going to do in restock that we're going to make. So it's a lot of money, but we can do it. This can be a possible project. This could be truth in the future with the help of everybody here.
So this is it all for today, but this band will keep moving on. And remember, we are the mining band, driving for the change.
You talked a lot about some of the materials you'll need for like the van and the chairs and kind of the physical things. What about the materials you'll use to actually present your content? How are you going to build those, create those, and what cost will that be?
Okay, last year the Move Mining team that won last year was teaching kids. So we could also work with them. They have surveys, they have all kind of charts, all kind of material to work with children. But so we have to expand it, not only for children, but to all type of public, to transmit our knowledge and to change their mining's perception. The cost, we'll have to evaluate it.
What going to be new for this Move Mining team? We can approach the technological things such as TVs, microscopes, mining simulators, books, and the mining band, Museum of Minerals. We can complement this idea. We come from the same university, and this could be a really big project if you get together in this experience.
How will people know that you're coming to their town? Do you plan on marketing that, announcing it ahead of time? Are permits required?
Well, we try to talk with all the majors and try to communicate them that we are going to be there and we're going to share our knowledge with all the people around the area.
We can go anywhere without previous announcement. We have to talk with the mayor of the town. We have to talk with the principal of the school, because we can go, hey, we are the mining band here. Yeah.
If this is something that you find to be successful in Colombia, how do you make it bigger? How do you take it to other areas, other countries?
This could be possible we only need money for this. The people, the capacity of people, they are allowed in our university. We have this, we have our courage. We have prepared for this program. We are available for every trial that we're going to do, wherever part of the country.
If we get enough money, we could have something like an army of bands, so they could go any place that requires it.
Have you thought of any alternatives to purchasing the van? Because purchasing the van may introduce a number of safety concerns, maintenance concerns, and other logistical concerns. What's core about your activity that could survive without the purchase of the van?
Sorry, we didn't understand the question. Could you repeat it again, maybe in other words?
Bueno, en español se lo repito. Bueno, ¿se han considerado de seguir con ese proyecto sin comprar el van? Porque con el van hay riesgo de seguridad, hay que manejarlo, hay riesgo logístico. ¿Qué hay dentro de su idea que es core, que se puede repetir sin el van?
Es que continuar sin la van sería un Teaching Kids 2. Y un Teaching Kids 2.
To continue without the van would be a teaching kit.
Continue without the van, it would be a Teaching Kit 2 because they already have the didactical programs, and we want to transport our idea to expand this kingdom that we're going to be if we win this prize.
Talk a little bit about how you coordinate. This would be all volunteer labor and man hours from university students, I imagine. Could you talk a little bit about how you coordinate that to make it sustainable? And then a follow-on question, I was just curious about how you would prioritize where in Colombia you would be going for the most impact.
Well, the main towns that we're going to visit are the towns that are affected of mining. In this type of area, where all the people that are going to campaign us are students. So we're gonna check our schedules and try to figure out how to go there. But the main idea is to go and impact where mining is, or where the mining is gonna be done. So that's the idea.
How many people do you think you can impact in a year with this method?
How many people we think that we can impact with this project?
How many different trips do you think you can make in a year? How many different people do you think you can reach at each stop?
Well, in one session of our mining ban, we can interact, we can impact around 20 people. So if we go like every week to 2 places or 1 place, it will be like around 20 people for each week of the year. So that's how it goes.
We go to any town, and every session would be a duration like 1 hour. And in 1 hour we can talk to 20 people, so we can make 8-10 sessions in 1 day. So it would be like 200 people, 100 people per day.
I think we have no more questions from our judges, so let's have a big round of applause for the Team Mining Band. While we wait for our 4th group to come up, let's review a few of the statistics about mining and just how it does impact every part of our lives. Because of mining, we can make skylines and transit systems. We mine iron, coal, moly, copper, used to make steel for skyscrapers and subway systems, and support technology, agriculture, transportation, access to water and energy. We help generate energy for the U.S. and the world. Mined minerals run through the solar panels and wind turbines used to generate renewable energy from sustainable sources. Even the roads and access to energy resources would not be possible without mined materials. 30% of U.S. energy and 37% of energy worldwide is fueled by coal. We keep infrastructure strong, utilizing fly ash, sand, and gravel to build concrete streets and highways. Industries around the world use mined materials to build and create, including construction, healthcare, chemicals, automotive, aerospace, and machinery sectors. The mining industry brings prosperity and opportunity. We provide jobs for more than 3.7 million workers in the formal mining sectors and an additional 20 million in artisanal and small-scale mining worldwide. Finally, mining takes place in every corner of the globe, with many companies regarded as mining countries, or countries having mined materials contributing directly to their exports, domestic markets, and employment. Look around. If you can't grow it, somebody mined it. So I'd like to leave that in the back of your head as I think our next team is ready. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce you now to Team Mine to Me from British Columbia, Canada. Team members include Quan Fung, Retsepile Sello, and Robert Ferderer.
Hey, good afternoon everyone. We're Team Mine to Me, and our goal is to use animated videos to change the negative perception of the mining industry. So my name is Quan, this is Robert and Sello, and we're all students from the University of British Columbia. Robert and I are undergraduate mining engineering students, and Rosello is a master's student specializing in health and safety. She will start us off first on the current state of public perception on mining.
So, the current public perception of mining is negative. I personally get a lot of negative comments when I tell people that I study mining. For example, recently I was speaking to one of my friends and they were introducing me to their coworker. And when I mentioned mining, she said, "Oh, so much for our efforts to always try to combat global warming." This is just one example of the strong opinions that people hold about mining. We actually analyzed another study by University of Kentucky, and we found that over 90% of news media only reported negative stories. So what does this do? The communities, they get all their information from this news media, and this is how the negative perception is formed. And when companies try to open new operations, they usually receive a lot of resistance as a result. For example, in Latin America, over 41% of projects have resistance right now, and it costs companies about $20 million a week. Secondly, there is significantly less information about mining out there, especially in Canada. Over 60% of people are reported to have minimal understanding of what the industry is about. As a result, we see less and less people entering the industry, and we have significant labor shortages.
So what will Mine to Me change? We're going to raise awareness and educate the public on mining practices that are less commonly shown in the traditional media. So we will look at 3 areas: the usage of mined commodities, technology and safety advancements, and environmental stewardship. By targeting these 3 areas, it will help the general public gain a more complete picture of the mining industry so that they can make informed decisions and opinions surrounding both the positive and negative impacts of mining. So why animated videos? Well, the answer is simple. Animated videos are engaging, meaning we can grab the audience interest on the subjects that they may not necessarily care about initially. Animated videos are easy to digest. Because we animate out difficult concepts and there's an audio and visual component to them, this will ensure that people with no background in mining can easily understand the content. And lastly, because we're the content creators, we can tailor the content to ensure that it is relevant to their audience, therefore adding some value to their lives. Let's take a look at a short clip from one of our videos, What is a Smartphone Made Of?, to see why animated videos are the best solutions to educating the public.
Research predicts that in 2019, there will be 4.7 billion phones in use. This means that we will need 71,000 tons of copper, along with 2,400 tons of silver, 500 tons of gold, and many more tons for other elements. The journey of your smartphone starts from deep down in the earth. Take, for example, the gold used in the wiring. Gold can come from mines in North America, Africa, Russia, Indonesia, or Australia.
So that was just one of our many video ideas. Here you can see a list of all the different video ideas we have so far, but the titles themselves may be changed slightly in order to make it more appealing to the audience. So from the Usage of Mine Commodity series, we can take a look at what if the world ran out of copper, to highlight the importance of copper to the modern day society. From the Technology and Safety series, we can look at how automation will improve safety, debunking the myth that mining is an unsafe or primitive industry. And from the Environmental Stewardship series, we can look at water recycling in mining, highlighting the conservation efforts made in our industry. And as the mining industry changes, we can add or subtract video topics in order to follow trends that the audience is curious about in order to maximize viewership.
So the Mind to Me work process, it starts with idea generation, where we ask ourselves three main questions. What perception of mining are we actually trying to target? How can we then shift this perception? And how can we engage the viewers in our videos? So once we've thought of all those things, then we move to video creation, where we research and script the videos ourselves. Then we outsource the video animations and voiceovers, and finally we review the final product that they provide to us to make sure that it's exactly how we intended it to be. In terms of marketing, we give our videos engaging titles and thumbnail photos that draw curiosity to potential viewers. We plan to use Facebook ads as those allow for precise audience targeting, and we're also going to share our videos with partner organizations as well as schools who can potentially use these videos as part of their curriculum. So our target demographic. So there's currently no media sources targeting the age 18 to 30 group with the goal of changing their perception of mining. For ages 6 to 17, there are things like Minerals Ed in British Columbia, Minerals Education Coalition in the United States, and Teaching Kids in Colombia. For the age 30 and above group, they likely get their information from mining from either TV or newspapers, and they probably have a strong negative perception of the industry from the years of bad reputation that it's been getting. So the 18 to 30 group is an unaddressed portion of the population with a vast social media usage. Their opinions are still developing, and they're more likely to open to new ideas.
So upon its growth, we envision that Mind to Me will indeed change the perception of mining. And when this happens, companies can expect to see more and more capital and more financial and human capital, and they will further be able to support the communities that they operate in. The communities themselves can expect to see economic boost from jobs created and also from corporate social investment projects. And as for governments, they can expect tax revenues to rise and also increase in foreign investment. In terms of budgeting, the $5,000 fund will go towards creating 22 videos in 10-month period. We will be releasing them on bi-weekly schedule. It will cost us about $228 to release one video, and this is because $110 goes towards production, and $116 towards marketing ads, and $2 towards thumbnails. But we will be able to move funds from, say, from marketing to video creation if we see more interest from our audience. Currently, we actually have one video running. All our social media pages are also up and running, and we have already seen increase in viewership. So please feel free to also follow Mind to Me on social media. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to our presentation. We'll now open to questions.
How are you planning on partnering with other companies, other organizations to help, one, fact check your information, and two, to help develop the content itself?
Yeah, so in terms of the content, we're planning on doing the research and creation ourselves, and then possibly with our school help review the content to make sure that it's reliable. And then in terms of sharing it with other organizations, so we're all from Canada and we're members of the CIM, Canadian Institute of Mining. So that's one outlet that we plan to share with. And then also we've talked to the company in British Columbia, Minerals Ed, who talks to kids about mining in their schools, and they were very interested in seeing our future videos as well.
Could you talk a little bit about how you worked up your costs for the video production and marketing? It seems that pretty low per video. I'm just curious on how you work that out.
Yeah, so for the video cost itself, we already worked with a contractor on Fiverr, so we established pretty low rates because we're doing like a bunch of videos, 22 plus videos. So we were able to get the cost decreased. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, was it being done in the US, Canada, abroad?
Abroad. Yeah, so the marketing budget, the $116 roughly, so that will go towards advertising in between. So we'll have a bi-weekly release schedule, and so the funds will go towards, so let's just say we produce a video, then for 2 weeks we'll advertise that video. So if you break it down, 116 divided by 14 days roughly, just under $10 per day to market the video. And then after that, we'll start creating the new video and promote that one.
What experience do the three of you have with producing or writing videos that you'd be leveraging for this?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull up a video that I've produced already, or just like the statistics. So I made a video called What, can you guys pull up, yeah, thanks. So this video is called What is Mining Engineering? I made this roughly 6 months ago, and as you can see from the impressions, this is the total number of times that the video thumbnail has been shown to viewers. So we got 18.2 thousand impressions already, and from the views, we already have 3,800. Yeah.
So is that how you're planning on tracking success, is through views? How will you know you've changed mining perception?
Yeah, so our primary goal is to raise awareness and educate the public. So whenever we see, for example, so likes will primarily be sort of an indication of how engaged the viewers are. So obviously if they like the content, they're gonna make that extra effort and click the thumbs up. Views would be how well we basically market our videos. So yeah, and lastly comments. We're gonna be tracking comments on, like, for example, if they have any questions that they may ask, what sort of drawn their curiosity, stuff like that, etc. Yeah.
I liked the video. I thought it was engaging. And
Thank you.
You know, you highlight the need for a mineral. How do you bridge the logic gap between a need for something and the need to have a mine?
So let me just clarify the question. So you want to know the difference between why minerals need to be mined versus why it needs to exist?
If you broadcast the need for a mineral, how does that project to the public that we then need a mine for it?
Okay, so personally, I think we would like to start from the consumer end of view. So we start with, for example, things that the current public would interface with. So for example, like smartphones, cars and stuff. So we start with that. We describe sort of what mining material will be used in that. And then we start from the beginning of the value chain where, we'll say, the material for this product comes from mines in here. And we'll sort of describe the mining process from there on.
Yeah, we also explained in that video that current ways that go towards recycling minerals, for example, how they are insufficient. Therefore, like emphasizing that in the future we still heavily need mining because recycling doesn't meet the need.
Just wanted to mention also that the clip we just showed you guys is just a short clip of one of our videos. It's actually probably 3 times longer than what you saw, so it's just a little sampler.
Just curious, how would you coordinate? So you got 22 videos and you've got 3 theme areas, which I think is awesome, and the reach potential is huge. How are you planning to coordinate the overall messaging and link all of those ideas across 22 videos into a common message? What's your thinking on that?
So I'll answer the first part of the question. So this is sort of like our operational plan. We're all going to rotate in terms of how we will script the video, outsource the video, and the marketing. We're going to alternate between, so if you look at the bottom of that video, so video 1 will be end usage of mining, video 2 will be technology and safety, and video 3 will be environmental stewardship. And in terms of your question on how we're going to interlink between those 3, first off, I think we will look at the audience comment and see if they have any specific requests for topics that they want to see or want to be addressed. And then depending on how in-depth you want to go into, we could either answer those shortly through comments, or we can create like a video specifically just for that.
Excellent, thank you. Round of applause for Team Mind to Me. Thank you very much. While our final team is getting ready, we'd like to call your attention to the fact that Move Mining has expanded. There's actually now another program. SME and MEC recognize the need to encourage students in kindergarten through 12th grade to explore how mining helps the world and the world in which we live. As a result, Move Mining Next Gen was created. Similar to Move Mining, but it's only open to students in kindergarten through 12th grade. The competition asks students to consider the need for mining and to create 3-minute videos answering the question, why is mining important in our lives? And the winners this year were, the winner of the $1,000 best overall prize was, I love this team name, Team Let's Learn About Coal with Maddox, Carson, and Evan. Maddox, Carson, and Evan also, by the way, won the grades K through 5 section of the competition. The team winning the People's Choice Award was Team Mining Rocks. The grades 6 through 8 winner was Team The Clever Copper Shopper. And the grades 9 through 12 team winner was Mara Iron Mining. Overall, more than $2,500 in prize money was awarded to our competition winners. We encourage you to check out their videos. They're all online at moveminingNextGen.org, www.moveminingNextGen.org. Check them out. Congratulate this year's competition winners, and Move Mining Next Gen starts again this spring. So if you've got public school age kids that you'd like to get involved in Move Mining, that's the fastest, easiest way to do it. With that in mind, let's bring up our final group of competitors. This is Team Unravelers from Reno, Nevada. The team includes Simone Jose Gobb, Jorge Valencia, and Himesh Patel. Let's bring them up here, Team Unravelers.
So, good evening. Unfortunately, one of our team members cannot join us tonight because of medical issues. So, she's watching right now, Florida, so we wish you a quick recovery and we try to substitute you as good as we can. So, all right. So, what is the most effective way to change the perception about mining? We will present to you tonight what we think is the most effective way. But first, let us introduce ourselves.
Hola a todos, my name is Jorge Valencia.
Namaste, I'm Himesh from India.
Guten Tag, my name is Simone, I'm from Germany. So, we will start with our answer to the question of the day. And our idea to change the perception about mining is a nationwide public relation campaign. And so we try to find out what do we have to address to create an effective campaign. So we created an online survey and we distributed it around the world. And we addressed topics like necessity of mining, environmental issues, and safety. So good news, 90% of people thought that mining is important for a modern life. Bad news, 40% think that mining companies do not care about the environment, even though we have heavy regulations and we do have to take care of it. Also, bad news is that from the jobs that we provided in the survey, 50% of the people thought that mining is the most dangerous. It's not true. So the result was that we have to focus on sustainability and health and safety in our campaign. So a goal without a strategy is merely a dream. To develop an effective, so you remember most probably former campaigns like Got Milk. 1 year into the campaign, the milk consumption had risen by 94%. I'm pretty sure you remember a diamond is forever from the Bears, because every woman expects to have a diamond on her engagement ring, right? So, of course, we're not trying to sell a specific product to a private consumer, but campaigns can also help to change perception about a specific company or even whole industries. BP campaigned, and people thought it is the greenest oil and gas company. I tell you what, we can do the same. So for successful PR campaigns, you have to go through different steps. You will start with the research. So who's our target audience? What do they like? And where do they obtain their information so we can actually reach out to them? The second part will be the action plan and formulating objectives. So what is the goal of this campaign? What are measurable objectives along the way? And what tactic do we choose? The third part is the communication, and that is basically the implementation of the campaign. So you will want to build a relationship with the consumers through ongoing conversation. The last part will be the evaluation and the assessment. So do the results actually align with the objectives? And what will be future steps? And I will tell you the advantages of our idea. First, it's a proven concept. Second, it has the biggest outreach from any of the other ideas. And third, because it works subconsciously, it has a lasting effect.
Now I will show you some examples of our campaign. This is a poster that hopefully we will find in many places in the future. This is a billboard in a freeway with the motto "From Earth to You," which implicitly means from the mining directly to you, dear skeptical friend. This is another billboard highlighting the safety in the mining industry. So don't believe it? Visit our website, dear friend. Using social media, we will publish some good remarks about the mining industry, like the contribution in taxes, jobs, etc. And creating partnership with the most reliable companies, we will say to our friends, yeah, that company that you love is promoting the mining industry as well. So come on, join us to our movement.
So I'm the money guy. I'm gonna talk about how much money we need to you guys. So as most of you are from public relation and communication background, you guys know how mining PR campaign works. So it's gonna be in different phases. The first phase, we are gonna have the survey just like we did initially. In the first phase, there will be a website, social media, and search engine optimization. I'm pretty sure most of you know that what is SEO. It's just a technique where you put your result on the top of the Google search, because you guys know that no one goes on the second page of the Google, right? On the third phase, there will be, you see the number, this 100K to 100K, that's the total outreach of the first phase. In the second phase, it's 400 to 500,000. In the third phase, it could be million. It depends on how much money we spend. So that's the budget allocation that we came up. In first phase, it's gonna be 21,000. In second phase, it's gonna be almost 100K. In third phase, it's almost 500,000. So what are the success metrics? How we are gonna see that our campaign is working or not? So these are 4 parameters, press clippings and content analysis, that we can see if our campaign is working or not. We can see press is noticed or not. In the newspaper, we can see articles. Social media engagement, we can on social media, we can see how many people are engaging with us, how many people are sharing our content, which is basically positive things about mining. Market surveys and analysis will be there. That's continuous, it will be there after 3 months. It's a continuous process. And the fourth one is website traffic and search engine optimization.
All right. We brought you some more eye candy, hopefully, if they can play the video.
The following shows an exemplary commercial that our team put together.
100% of people died of the worst mining disaster. Oh my god, this thing is so bad. I hope we don't have mining at all. Mom! Where's my laptop?
Honey, I don't have time. I have to get to work. I'm sorry.
It was just here!
Oh, I have to call my boss. Where's my car?
What happened?
I don't know. Last night we said mining doesn't exist.
All right. Thanks. Now we have time for questions.
I think one of the biggest things on all of our minds, that's a pretty significant budget that is far beyond the $5,000 prize from this particular contest. So I'm wondering how you're going to close the gap in that budget.
So, you know, it took us 150 years, more than 200 years, to make our image bad, you know? Like, we did so many things in the past, and people are passing the same information. So, it's gonna take us some time. So, we need to spend more money in order to get bigger audience, and in order to change, we need to give it time. Like, as I mentioned, it's gonna be for some years, it's gonna be for 4 years. And then eventually we can change, we can modify the campaign. So we need more money for that.
And also mining companies are already spending on making great content, but it gets shared on LinkedIn, where only like mining people actually see it, and if they actually put together the money and spend it on one big campaign, we think that will be more successful.
And just for clarification, you guys are planning on running the entire program and PR campaign, the three of you? 5? Sorry.
Yes.
5 of you.
So the idea is we are going to start the campaign, and then we can pass on the same model to the big companies. But as my friend mentioned, there should be one similar tagline everywhere, just like mining from earth to you. I mean, different company like Komatsu, Newmont, every company, they have their own, you know, public relation and CSR thing. They mention their own thing there. I mean, there is no similarity, there is no similar thing, there is no synergy. So that's what we are focusing.
Have you guys given any thought to how you might coordinate the messaging with some of the other advocacy groups like ICMM or other industry advocacy groups, so that the message is in line with their thinking and their messaging?
So we're thinking about having a trifold. So a committee from the mining companies that provides the funding, hiring an advertising agency that takes care of actually implementing the campaign, and additionally having an NGO that actually does the research and finds like information that we want to contribute in the campaign.
If you can get the public to, agree that mining is necessary, how do you combat the next step, which would then be not in my backyard?
Well, that's something we want to highlight. So this is, for now, it's a nationwide campaign. If we highlight what benefits it has globally to have mining in America, that's how we take care of that problem, not in my backyard, because we will tell the people, hey, if we mine in America, there will be less people dying than if we mine actually in China. So, and the world is getting smaller nowadays, and people realize that not in my backyard is not the attitude of modern life.
In addition to that, our campaign is gonna make them aware how much nickel and how much lithium and how much cobalt we need to make the EV, electronic vehicles, right? And that's the future. So for example, copper, we got a lot of copper mines here. So if we don't mine it here, we need to buy it from other countries, let's say Latin America countries or Australia. And if we, it's always expensive to import than producing at the home. It gives, I mean, as my friend said, there are tax benefits, job benefits, and this mining companies spend a lot of money as a CSR initiative, and people don't really recognize it.
The idea is to promote this concept also in different areas, like for example the culture and the arts, where the mining industry is not completely related and is not known for support intellectual or cultural activities or artistic activities. So our idea is to create a wide campaign in different fields.
So I'm going back, I'm still stuck on the budget idea. So what are some of your ideas if you don't get that budget to do all that marketing? Where would you concentrate on first? What would be the core essence of your idea?
Okay, so, well, as far as I know, I have made some websites and I have handled some social media. So I have experience in social media and marketing. That's not expensive. When you go for the posters and offline media, newspapers, billboards, that is expensive. So initially it's gonna be online. So that's why the budget is really low initially. But when we go, if you wanna go higher, then we need to spend more money. So social media, SEO, and website is our plan.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Let's have a round of applause for Team Unravelers. Thank you very much. Well, while the judges are deliberating, we'd like to take this time to thank some of the many people who made this competition a success. Once again, we'd like to thank Komatsu, the major sponsor, for their generous contribution to this program. We'd also like to thank the Minerals Education Coalition for the support, hours, time, blood, sweat, tears that they put into all of the education programs of SME. We'd like to thank the university professors who have shared this competition with their students and colleagues, to industry professionals who have, for their know-how and passion, to families and friends of our teams who have helped put these wonderful programs together, and also to the SME staff who's worked very hard behind the scenes to make this third live event a success. And thanks to you, thanks to everyone who is participating in the live event, either here in person in the Denver Convention Center or watching live on Facebook right now. And of course, as an instrumental part of this program is the sponsorship that made it possible. I'd like now to invite to the stage Evelyn Mackey from Komatsu to tell us a little bit about their involvement in Move Mining.
Thanks, John. Good evening, everybody. As John mentioned, my name is Evelyn Mackey. I'm the Vice President of Marketing Communications for Komatsu. We're honored and excited to be the official sponsor of the Move Mining Contest. Already in its third year, this competition is making strides, engaging teams around the world to share their passion for our industry with a broader audience. As we all know, mining is changing rapidly. The future of mineral extraction is high-tech, highly precise, and far more sustainable. Innovation in our industry is accelerating and even setting the pace for other industries in areas like safety, battery-powered energy, and automation. Unfortunately, though, people's perception of mining is not improving quickly. Together, however, we can impact that. As thought leaders in our industry, we have the opportunity to improve the perception of mining. And the finalists today all shared exciting ideas for doing just that. On behalf of Komatsu, I'd like to thank all the teams who submitted their ideas to Move Mining this year. I also would like to thank the staff at SME and the MEC for their hard work to bring this competition to life. And I would like to congratulate all the 5 top teams for getting here. You are in the forefront of a movement to teach the world that our lives, today and tomorrow, are made possible by mining. Thank you and good luck as you move these ideas forward.
Thank you, Evelyn. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's welcome all the teams back on the stage, please. Come on out, guys. Here we go. And now we should have some extra special shark music or for the guy we'd really like to see. Dave Carnegie, the Executive Director of SME, was going to announce our winners today. So come on up, Dave.
Thank you, John. Hey, let's give a big hand to John Ward, who's done an excellent job in seeing this. Well, this is the third time we've done the Move Mining program, and I think the projects get more and more interesting, and they get more and more important, and I think that all of the projects were well worth it. So let's give all of our contestants a round of applause. This year's entries from 5 countries address the core message pillars that mean the most to our audience and to our industry stakeholders: economy, energy, environment, national security, infrastructure, technology, and safety. This year's competition not only has reached you, our audience, but thousands of others who've watched the competing videos online, casting their votes for their favorite concepts and learning more about how mining impacts them. In addition, we have been able to extend our impact with Move Mining Next Gen, reaching students. Move Mining continues to show us diversity in this emerging group with a variety of men and women from different backgrounds, education, and more, all competing to make a difference, to share the positive message of mining. So join me in saying again, thank you to these teams. So before I came up here, they handed me the winner in this envelope, and I said to Tanya, I said, how do you know who won? You didn't even go up and talk to the judges. Oh, Dave, it's all electronic. And the winner for this 2019 version of Move Mining is Mine to Me.